After its anti-China efforts proved fruitless, the U.S. has chosen a new battleground for negotiations, hoping to meet with Chinese leaders at the G20 summit. At the same time, a U.S. court has ruled that the Trump administration acted illegally. The China-U.S. tariff negotiations may be facing a complete reshuffle. So, why did Trump suddenly change his mind and agree to attend the G20 summit? What does the U.S. court's ruling that the president overstepped his authority mean for Trump's tariff war?
Welcome Global Express.
After the US and China significantly reduced tariffs on each other, Trump still hadn't received an invitation from the Chinese side to visit China. This made senior officials at the White House start to worry about the follow-up tariff negotiations and forced the US to shift and seek a new negotiation arena, namely, to seek a meeting with the Chinese side during the G20 summit to be held at the end of this year. On May 27 local time, South African President Ramaphosa announced that Trump had agreed to attend the G20 Leaders Summit in November. And he will take over the rotating presidency of the G20 from South Africa. Yet, prior to this, U.S. Secretary of State Rubio had just announced that Trump would not attend the G20 summit in South Africa later this year, citing policy differences between South Africa and the United States. So, what exactly made Trump suddenly change his mind within less than a week and agree to attend the G20 Leaders Summit? Some analysts believe that Trump made this decision because he had no other choice. After Trump launched the tariff war, the United States' aggressive trade policies faced collective resistance from multiple trading partners, and as a result, the U.S. market took a heavy hit, with the risk of stagflation rising sharply. In such circumstances, whether it's to address the looming threat of a federal fiscal crisis or to stabilize domestic public opinion, Trump has no choice but to face the reality and deal with the series of challenges brought about by the tariff policies. Seeking dialogue with China is undoubtedly a good way to stabilize the market. It's worth noting that, in addition to external pressure, the Trump administration is also facing trials from the federal judicial system. According to a Reuters report, on May 28 local time, the International Trade Court blocked the reciprocal tariff policy issued by Trump in April, ruling that it was an overreach of authority. The report states that a panel of 3 judges found that although Trump cited the International Emergency Economic Powers Act to justify most of his tariffs, a long-standing trade deficit does not constitute a national emergency, and tariffs are not among the measures authorized for the president under this act. In fact, this is not the first time the U.S. International Trade Court has intervened to halt tariff policies issued by the Trump administration. As early as 2020, this court supported the petition of 3,600 American companies requesting the Trump administration to suspend the liquidation of tariffs on certain Chinese goods exported to the U.S. Now, many American small and medium-sized business groups have filed lawsuits against the new tariff policy, and 13 states across the country have also joined the opposition to the tariff policy, which could land Trump in even bigger trouble. The U.S. International Trade Court has stated that the Trump administration needs to issue an executive order within 10 days to enforce this ban. During this period, if no higher court intervenes, the reciprocal tariff policy will become invalid. Right now, the U.S. is at a critical stage in tariff negotiations with multiple countries, which is why, immediately after the ruling was announced, the Trump administration filed an appeal. According to relevant U.S. laws, such cases are usually first appealed to the U.S. Federal Circuit Court of Appeals and may ultimately be sent to the Supreme Court. Some analysts have pointed out that the Trump administration is now halting the reciprocal tariff policy. This will only further damage the United States' international image and allow more countries to gain the upper hand in tariff negotiations. For China, which has already reached a preliminary consensus with the U.S., the Trump administration's tariff policy being ruled illegal is undoubtedly beneficial for the subsequent tariff talks. The reason is that both the 10% baseline tariff currently in effect and the reciprocal tariffs that are on hold fall within the scope of the suspension. As long as these tariffs are deemed illegal, the China-U.S. tariff negotiations will have to be reshuffled, giving China a greater advantage at the negotiating table. After Trump was left hanging for a day or two,